Welcome, teenies, new and old, to Wits and Crits, a roundtable-style Q&A podcast hosted by me, your Dice Goblin and resident Vanilla Guard Boy loving Ship Goblin, Hayden. What's up? You know me. We've been doing this. We've done it twice now. You know what's up. So, for those of you who are finding us for the first time, hi, hello. We are Nat 19. We're a group of actors, performers, and improvisers who have come together through our love of storytelling and mutual nerdery. We're a bunch of weirdos, and we're pretty neat, I like to think. And I'm here with a couple super neat boys. I have Spencer Downs and Aaron Robert Parnell. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us who you play, starting with Spencer.
The amount that I was so tempted to play the duck sound effect as soon as you hit record.
I should have! You should have! You ruined it.
Fine. I should have. Hello, I am Spencer. Spencer Downs. I play Vogan in Vestige. I play Krusk in Aaron's Princes of the Apocalypse game, and I play Arden Doyle in the Devil's Might Surrender game.
Wow. Yeah. What about you, Aaron?
Hi, I'm Aaron. I play Miriam Lucius, and I play Emmanuel Locke.
And you're also a super great dungeon master who's
I'm real
neat.
cute.
You're real cute. He's
Yeah.
our resident dungeon mouster.
A dungeon cutie.
I am a dungeon master. I followed myself on Twitch recently. Apparently.
Mr. That's Dr. Apocalypse. I'll have you know.
Dr. Apocalypse, the dungeon mouster.
The dungeon meowster.
So how this freaking show works, the show that I made up, because I decided I wanted to do more things in life. Because I need more things. So I'm gonna roll. I've got a dice tray here. I have a D8, a D6, and a D4. So how it's gonna work is I'm gonna roll a D4 to determine who is gonna answer the question, whether it's for Aaron, Spencer, or for both of you. I have a good number of questions for all of your characters. We've got some Dungeon Master questions and questions for both of you, just general ones as well. And then I will roll another die to see which question I'm gonna ask, and sometimes I will overrule because I decide another question is more fun, or I will just ask you another question to continue the conversation, and you guys are welcome to jump in on the convo and just continue general conversation, ask each other questions too. This is super loose, really round table style, so let's get into it, shall we, my boys?
Yeah,
I love how the dice matter until they don't.
Exactly.
Welcome to Wits and Grits, where the questions are silly and the dice don't matter.
Yeah.
Spencer, you said that. I was like, so it's D&D.
Yeah.
I was like, you're just describing D&D, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna roll my D4. Yeah. Ooh, it's for Aaron.
Hi.
Fuck 'em up.
And D8. Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, I guess this is what we're starting with. For Miriam,
No.
you and Aviana have a complex relationship, often flip-flopping from her being aggressive with you to her being very caring. How does Miriam interpret that? To add to that, you occasionally flirt with her offhandedly. But recently, at the end of session 150, you said, "Don't talk about my sister like that." How would you describe your relationship with Aviana?
Miriam and Aviana's relationship is a lovely tangled ball of two people who are inextricably linked together. And while, Miriam's definitely down for a what are you doing, step bro kind of vibe, he's definitely aware that that's not a thing that's going to happen. And that doesn't really bother him. So he
It never happens like that. Jesus.
What are you doing, step bro?
Stop. Wait, no, don't.
Yeah, Miriam will flirt with Aviana to hell and back. And like with most people he flirts with, the outcome is often less important to him than the actual flirting. Miriam just has fun doing it. It's also one of his many things that lets him just survive in the world. And so he will occasionally even just reflexively do that. But yeah, I mean, the way that Aviana definitely acts is a lot more like a sibling than, say, someone that he would actually be pursuing romantically.
Man. I have so many thoughts and feelings about those two. I'm like, I'm not on this episode, but I have so many thoughts. But like with her, just to touch on the top of the question, just because I'm a curious being, with how often she kind of flip-flops with him, like she's definitely softened as of post Honokuni, because she's like, let me not.
She got a dad.
Yeah, really, man. That's kind of it. But she's definitely softened, but like with how aggressive she's been, like to the point of she beat the shit out of him after like Lexi got ashed away and shit like that. Like, how does he kind of interpret like her flip-floppy kind of nature with him?
I mean, often he doesn't process a lot of those things, at least like in so much as he doesn't sit down and really think about them moment to moment. He can get a lot of those emotions. Like, he can get why someone would attack him after someone like Lexi died. And so while, like, something like that would fucking critically hurt him, he's emotionally intelligent enough to separate an outburst like that from the person underneath. It's not something that's, like, eluded his thoughts. He's definitely like, you got stuff to work on, but... You know, he's also perfectly aware of a lot of his shortcomings and things to work on. And Miriam is frequently in a position where he will say nothing or few things because, you know, it's not his place.
He always seems like a lot more like introspective than he lets on, but maybe that's just me.
Miriam would absolutely be like, what right do I have to tell you you have something to work on? Like...
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, from where he lives, he's like, yeah, no, I am Miriam fucking Lucius, and through his fault or no, he has gotten people in a lot of danger and a lot of trouble. And that's the only reason he's here in the first place, is that he feels very seriously about those kinds of things. But because of that, if he's not going to attack someone's character because of any sort of perceived slight or flaw, if it's something that he's like, no, it's not really that much different from what any of my other friends or me, like
what he's done or what he's like, at least
how he is,
done.
how he acts. He's done bad. That he nearly murdered an old woman who may have then tipped off the guard to our location if it wasn't samurai themselves. Like, if he killed her, it might have genuinely been better for the party, but he couldn't do it. But that impulse was there, and that's not something that he can really let go of. That's a thing that he's like, no, I nearly did that, and that's not cool.
It's like, that's something I have to live with now.
Yep.
God. Just give that boy a hug. just a big ol' hug.
Miriam is extremely aware of the mental and emotional labors of being in a de facto position of being in charge, and the responsibility of the lives of people around him. Did he kind of feel like, just to expand on that, did he ever feel like he was kind of put in a position of leadership, especially when they were in Honokuni, because we didn't have like Vogan or Quinn? I mean, even with Quinn beforehand, Miriam was the kind of person in charge of the day-by-day keeping things running. Quinn's like, let's go left, and we go left, and he's fine with that usually. But if Miriam ever objected strongly enough, Quinn would just do what Miriam wanted. Yeah. Like, anytime he's ever been like, Quinn, no, Quinn was like, okay, and that was that. And so there's been positions where even beforehand he's like, no, like, Quinn's in charge, but I tell Quinn what to do.
Miriam, shadow leader of the highest standard.
I mean, if you asked Abby, she would probably be like, no. Yeah, it's Mary. And so once we got into Honokuni, everyone was kind of scrambling for purpose, and the only thing he knew is that we're here kind of because of me, and that means I need to get everyone out of here. Which is why he got into a place, especially after Lexi died, where he's like, no, I will literally go any length to make sure that people walk out of this place. So, like, if enough people died, he absolutely would have accepted vampirism or whatever he needed to gain any edge in getting through that place.
Oh.
Honokuni.
Yeah, that had a lot of branching paths for him, and we walked a thin line to the one we got.
I
I'd
genuinely...
like 3 shots of Depresso. Thank you.
Some espresso to cure this Depresso.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I might have lost him. It was not even just from like death, which was a distinct possibility, but I distinctly was aware that like it might just be at a point where either enough people die and Miriam does what he needs to do to get out, and then Logan's like, all right, Miriam's going to be doing his own thing, and he needs to go away for a while, so you're going to make a different character.
Wow.
And I would have been okay with that. While Logan never had that talk with me about it being a possibility, I was like, depending on where it went, I'm like, no, yeah, that could happen. Or I definitely had some little brain rot moments where it was like, if they didn't, and enough people didn't get out, especially in a way that they could be brought back, then Miriam would definitely have tried to goad Quinn into killing him once he got him back.
Holy shit, bro. I mean, knowing Miriam, though, it makes sense. Like, I get it. Speaking of getting things, we're gonna get to another question, because I'm sad.
Smooth.
That was very smooth. Thanks, Spencer. So this is for both of yous. Let's roll the D6. Meow. Ooh. Okay, this one's fun and cute. What are some things that have surprised you most during your time in the Cauldron? Anything that you want to do most outside of, the life and world-threatening things that we're dealing with right now?
Okay, that's 2 different questions.
Okay, what do you want to do most for, like, fun or things that, like, interest you most or surprised you most in the Cauldron outside of the Diane shit?
Okay.
Fish. Because I'm aware of that.
I was gonna say, like, that's the most surprising thing that's come out of the Cauldron for me. It's like, what the hell is this?
Expand on that if you want.
I don't know how. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. It's so confusing. It's like, what? I didn't know Fosh was going to be such a big thing, apparently.
I love it so much.
Some great old one patron. Like,
let's fucking go.
Oh, jeez. As far as things like things that we'd want to do in the Cauldron. As far as Vogan's concerned, he just wants to get everyone out.
That's fair.
There's not really a lot for him here. Like, this is mainly this was mainly Flux's thing as far as going in was concerned. It's like, yeah, sure, we'll do this thing for our good boy Flux.
Our buddy.
Our good old pal. But upon getting here, I think that's still the same. Like, he's like, yeah, no, this place is not great. We need to leave. We need to deal with what we can as quickly as we can, and then get out. So, his thoughts are on the team.
That's
currently.
It's what they need, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is he kind of surprised that he was, like, able to, like, junction with a DGR and things like that? Like, how's Vogan feeling on that?
Like, I think I've said this in stream before, but, like, as far, like, his knowledge of, like, gods or, like, Eidolons or Eidolos and all that higher level stuff, it's not his wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
He knows swing sword and
sword, hit good, breathe calm.
Yeah, breathe calm. So, like, when it comes to giant robots and being able to pilot them, this is surprising. No idea how to react. It's like, well, I guess I can do it, and I will do it in order to get out of here. So,
That's fair.
I love that the piloting seems intuitive. Like, it doesn't seem like no one needs to be trained on how to pilot them, which kind of, to me, sounds like the controls don't necessarily do any one thing. They do whatever the pilot thinks they do.
Yeah.
And that sounds way funny to me. It's just
that sounds like
two
Warhammer.
sticks that fucking, like, Vogan's sliding back and forth, but it's doing everything he wants. He's like, die, die, die.
Yeah. It sounds like Warhammer 40k orcs. Like, they just imagine things into existence. It's great.
We painted it red. That means it goes faster. So
Definitely.
it does.
And it does.
It's purple. That means it's stealthy. Have you ever seen a purple orc? I didn't think so.
Fucking.
Ew.
What about Medium? How's he?
Mario.
I mean, the most surprising thing was surviving, but that seems like the less interesting answer. Realistically, it's Pesadromos and how, like, oh my god, I would fucking love to live there as Miriam. Like, it's a city of literal just poetry and philosophy that's sitting in these, you know, Greco-Romano ruins, like this kind of hybrid of those cultures that's just this old, like, Athenian place where you can just, you know, your needs are provided, there's food, there's water, and you can just live and do whatever you need to do. The arts being such a prime focus there, it's so strange to him that Vestius is the one that holds dominion over that place, when Tequin would love it there.
It feels so weird that it's not Tequin. But, like, this place feels like so very Miriam in a lot of ways, especially because, like, all the lore that is under the series, not the series,
oh my god,
the city.
Just buried everywhere. There's, a hidden library filled with secrets that aren't supposed to be seen by the eyes of man. There's tons and tons of vaults that can be broken into for artifacts that aren't supposed to be wielded by anybody. Oh, he loves this place. It's also, we should leave and we should never come back. But oh my god, it would be great to bust into some of these places. Not that Miriam can, really, anymore. He no longer possesses either a Constellaquary nor his innate connection to Vestius. Well, though we haven't really tested that in a meaningful way yet, it's likely he no longer functions as a key, which has a lot of implications for the future. But yeah, that was probably the most surprising or at least interesting little bit for me. As for things he wants to do, I mean, I want to steal.
Yeah, that's fair.
You want to steal?
I want cool stuff. I mean, we already did, and it was awesome.
That's true. We
got theosite weapons and armor.
We shouldn't have been rewarded for desecrating a tomb.
That's how we got a Constellaquary. Miriam has a 100% reward rate for grave robbing. It's always been great, legendary shit. Clearly, we should do that more in the future.
It doesn't feel good. We shouldn't be rewarded for
Doesn't feel good. Vogan holding the theosite sword.
I'm only taking
Sunder
it
wearing the
it's
armor.
necessary. It's only necessary.
It's so good.
Oh man.
To get raw theosite would be really sick.
Oh, we need to talk to Galgagor.
Imagine bringing raw theosite to someone like Legum and be like, can you do anything with this? And he'd be like, what the fuck?
It's like,
He'd be like, not yet.
I'll figure it out.
+1 theosite. Masterwork.
My God, you want a quest to find a fucking Skyforge or some shit? That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Legum.
I miss Summergrass.
Dude, I was saying, I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Brain. I was like, genuinely, I kind of miss politics a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, we've been adventuring for a long time.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Land Away. whenever
Even
we
for the
get
party.
there. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited for Grey Rock.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You gotta
same.
hunt
that's gonna be
down
cool.
Raleigh, find
Raleigh.
out what they're doing. You got Miriam's family around that he can go be like, hey, hopefully you're not dead too. And then we can pass through Port Red Walk and into the Land of the Way.
Walk.
Yeah,
Point
we gotta.
Web
We gotta clean out Lexi's fucking house. We gotta break into it now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right, that also.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. There's so much good shit on the horizon. Speaking of good shit, let's ask another question. Ooh, Spencer.
Okay.
Okay. I'm throwing the D8 out of my tray. I'm a professional, don't you know?
Get it out of here.
Just
get
get
it
out
out of here. It wasn't gonna ask anything good. It's fine.
Ooh, speaking of going places, Vogan. With your pilgrimage on the horizon once you get out of the cauldron, is there anything you're curious about? What are you most concerned about? Are you looking forward to anything? Anything?
Adultflying.
Anything?
Adultflying.
I speak word money good. Yes.
So, we don't really know what really awaits us at at any of the locations.
Mhm.
Besides, like, I think the one in Grey Rock, like, from the prophecy or whatever, the future tellings
The prophecy.
from a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think they mentioned like fire giants and stuff at Grey Rock.
That makes sense.
I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it's been
I
a long
don't
time.
remember the specific one you're talking about, but fire giants in the Grey Rock? Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's something to be worried about, especially with a belt of giant kind being around his waist. Is like, I don't know if they'll look happy at that.
Just get a really baggy T-shirt. Just wear it over top.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, what? Not a like a cloak or anything. Like a baggy T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Classy.
Like 3 times too large for him.
That sounds great. I don't know what you're talking about, but
Mhm.
continue. Sorry.
So yeah, that's the thing to be worried about. I guess the thing from all the things we've been talking about that's happening in like the land away,
Mm-hmm.
that's also going to be a whole time probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other leg of your pilgrimage. So yeah,
Yeah.
not to
so-
mention brewing possibilities of civil war. Plus, we have the
Yeah.
attack from the fucking people that ended up killing Lucent, and there's a traitor on the council, and also Velis is probably there.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on in the land away.
But none of that concerns Vogan.
Well,
None of
Volga
that-
has to get past the Dragonborn there to get to the
Yeah,
temple.
he has to like talk. I think he has to like get permission.
Yeah,
from-
they
from
they
them?
guard it, so you can't get in unless you get
Yeah.
either literally through them, which would be a whole lot of crimes,
That's a lot of crime. Listen,
a lot of dead people.
Miriam's breaking crimes. Like he's breaking the law. Like just
By
with his
existing.
existence.
Listen, that's civil disobedience, and it's different.
Yeah. It's still a crime.
I mean, listen, you have Miriam, Avi, and like Lexi around. If you need crimes done, get the Shadow
Yeah.
siblings on that. They'll do some crime for you.
Yeah, no, there's tons. I mean, hell, it's not even counting for wherever Quinn's mom is.
Yeah.
If I was Lucent, I would be so pissed if she is in the land away and she never said anything. Or he knows, which then Quinn should be so pissed for him never saying anything. Granted, I guess I could understand Lucent knowing that Quinn just has an incapability of shutting up. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
for his
That's,
own protection.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's like this was for your own good, buddy.
It's staying around good.
That's right.
But yeah. What was the original question?
It
again? We were
was
talking-
with your pilgrimage on the horizon. Once you get out of the cauldron, is there anything you're curious about? What are you most concerned about? Looking forward to anything?
Yeah. I don't know if he's looking forward per se to any of that. It all sounds very dangerous. He he's not good at talking to people, so he's kind of dreading the fact, like, yeah, can I get your permission to go to continue my pilgrimage from the guys in the land away? Like,
Summergrass is safe. You're welcome.
Hey, I saved Summergrass. Can I get into your vault?
It's like, no, he's great. Go get him, Chair.
Or would we care?
I mean, is he curious at all about, like, where Sunder's from at all, and like going to the Veering Grove?
Oh yeah.
With how close like he and Sunder are at this point.
Yeah, of course. And he's Sunder's his boy.
Yeah.
Sunder's his good boy. His good time pal.
I love him.
Yeah. Wants to go there. Like, that's probably the thing he's looking forward to most, just to see where Sunder is from.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as everything else is concerned.
I have two major thoughts about it all.
Okay.
The first one, because it's just kind of funny, is that due to how D&D works, whatever trial that we might have to go through when we get to your pilgrimage, because of how our levels work and the difference between Vogan starting their journey in Summergrass and getting to the first one.
Yeah.
Like, it will prove to show that you were woefully unprepared when you got to Summergrass. That you were going to do that by yourself.
I feel like we have gotten sidetracked several times.
It's only been, so for everyone else, it's been like 2.5 months. And I think with how the maps changed, technically maybe 3, if we account for retroactive time changes and travel. But for Vogan, it would only been 1 or 2 because he didn't experience the month in Honokuni. And so it hasn't really been that long. It's just been non-stop chaos since the moment we met in that fucking bar. It has been absolute apeshit, just nightmares for everyone. And so we've had either it's get stronger or die every day. And
just like the strike lands.
It's like I'm home.
Just like home. Yeah.
The other thought is that you also, depending on if you have to do the trial alone or with everyone, you might be the first person to speak directly with an Eidolon by themselves. Because we've talked to Amir kind of once, but really they were just like, hey, yo, what up? And then they fucked off. And so there wasn't really room for a ton of conversation there. But like, it sounds like Vestius really wants to speak with at least Fogan, but maybe with the higher standard. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when we get there. But
curious.
To speak directly with the goddess of necessary evils, it's going to be neat.
So it's dreading the fact that he'd have to talk to someone with like so big like that. Like, oh no. There's so much pressure on Vogan.
Don't
and
fuck
me.
it up, buddy.
Yeah. and
fuck it.
me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
It's okay. Just figure it out, I guess.
Just get over it. Get
over it, buddy.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm very excited.
I'm sure.
So,
sure.
I'm gonna jump into another question, but because I wasn't there for like the start of like what his pilgrimage is for, can you remind me, Hayden, like the purpose of his pilgrimage and like what like the end goal of it is?
It's basically the pilgrimage is like a journey of self-imposed like self-discovery. Like because when he started it, he was in such a like he was just talked to like he just recovered from like being almost beaten to death by his former like hobgoblin captain. Trained like enough to gain like a level in Sword Saint, essentially.
To lose a bunch of levels in Barbarian.
To lose so many like a bunch of levels in Barbarian. I think we talked about like he was like level 5 Barbarian before he got fucked.
Wow.
Up. Yeah. But no, like he trained enough with Almyra to gain that level in Sword Saint, and then she was like, "Hey, why don't you go on this pilgrimage? It will help you like First, it'll help you broaden your horizons, and it will help you like discover what the person you want to be. And because he takes Elmira's word so highly, so seriously, he's like, yes, I will do that, absolutely. Just tell me where to go.
He then got strong enough to go back in time and give her that idea.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
I am so excited to see any ramifications of that.
Right?
I'm so excited. We fucked with time. I'm so excited.
That's the thing I'm excited for.
Did you ever get to talk to her after that happened? I don't think you did, right?
No, I think we did because we
or did it just not come up?
Yeah.
It just didn't come up because we talked to her because that's the conversation where Quintus asked her about the Whisperers, and Vogan had told her, it's like, hey, we have a star ruby, and she's like, hey, you said you had that. Where is it?
Yeah.
And then the whole, and he's like, hey, Avi, you might be a gosh darn princess. And she's like, no.
Right,
That was that conversation.
Wrong.
Kill me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we talked to, maybe Hogan mentioned it. I cannot. It's been so long, I can't properly remember that.
Yes, it was like section 65?
Oh, more than half the campaign ago. It makes sense why you wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'll go listen to it and let you know. Because that's what I do sometimes.
Nice.
But I also ask you questions. Oh, it's what Aaron.
Oh, what a crazy random happenstance.
I know, crazy. Oh, this is a sad question. Yay, I'm gonna ask it.
Oh,
Miriam often wears a mask in battle and acts like a giant dork. Is this him emotionally masking, or is it just something he likes to do as a distraction in combat?
Yes. So when the mask was found, as Aaron speaking, a part of my I was just like, I want to be Tuxedo Mask. So I threw that shit on and I was like, I'm gonna fuck around. But for Miriam, yeah, it's a lot easier to be a goofball and, you know, run around laughing and being kind of over the top. And it is, by its very nature, distracting. It causes a lot of people to pay attention to him, which is really, really useful sometimes for combat.
Mm-hmm.
So Miriam has a lot of masks he wears. He has tons and tons and tons. And that one's just a physical one. But it's not as though if he weren't wearing it in combat, he would have to take it much more seriously. He's still going to goof around in it because being lackadaisical towards an enemy is one of the best ways to piss them off. And
True.
Miriam always wants to piss his enemies off. He frequently kind of wants to piss his friends off, so why wouldn't he want to piss his enemies off?
Oh.
That, you know, that tracks.
Fucking stress levels are through the goddamn roof.
Sim, bro. Sim.
Punch Miriam for one of the only things that is objectively not his fault.
He had it coming.
Listen.
For other reasons, yes.
For a lot of reasons.
Just a little right on the nose. Just kiss Miriam on the nose. It'll be okay, buddy.
Yeah, no. If again, there's other worlds where he's in a library somewhere reading books, and that's that.
I want good things for that boy.
He and Miriam has to be best buds, as they're like spell books, right?
Yeah, man.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Wah. It's a good answer, Aaron. I'm like, yes. I want to know. Give me Miriam things. Let me know about the sad boy. How do I make him not sad with my sad bird?
How do we remove the Sag?
You can't? Cool, great. That's a built-in feature? I guess so.
Baked into the core identity of both characters.
Comes with a homeowners association.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, homeowning. But anyway.
Yeah, no, there's such a person who's so self-conscious or self-aware, and someone who is they're not the smartest person in the party, but they're definitely up there, they can sit and fixate on all sorts of issues forever. And as someone whose general process of if something has gone wrong, the way to make it better is to fix it. There's a lot of problems in the world that you can't fix either on your own or sometimes at all. And you just kind of have to live with that. It's like how he'll joke, but he is genuinely distraught over his inability to use his final wish. He has it. He technically can cast it, but he can't cast it. Yeah. And so it's there. It's into him, but it can't come out. And because of how wish works, the literal brief instance of understanding the universe
and that's just
escapes his mind like sand through your hands. Like you just can't hold it. And that is a greater tragedy than most plays to him.
God. Especially for someone like Miriam, who just like covets knowledge like that just because he's fascinated by the world.
Yeah, if he could live in that weird state of being able to change everything, he probably wouldn't change anything, but my God, would he love to just be literally the universe.
We need to get you to Gergelgagor, holy shit.
Yeah, no, Gergelgagor is his rock star. This guy is like, he is magic incarnate. He is everything Miriam wants to be. I mean, he's crazy and kind of weird. If Gergelgagor could be way sexier, he's everything Miriam wants to be.
I don't know.
I feel like Miriam's going to become the Karsus of this world.
I mean,
just fucking destroy the world because of your goddamn ambition.
Yeah, well, fuck the monarchy. They said no magic.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Do you know who Karsus is?
No, I don't. I don't. Tell me words. Teach me.
In Forgotten Realms lore, there was this dude named Karsus, who later became legendary for an event called Karsus's Folly. Basically, he found a way to cast a 10th level spell.
Also named Karsus's Folly.
Also named Karsus's Folly.
Retroactively, I think it has another name that he called it, but Spencer will get to it.
Yeah. But essentially what it did was he wanted to become a god. He replaced, was it Mistra or Mistral at the time? Mistral. He replaced Mistral, the goddess of magic, replaced her, and was a god for like a minute.
Oh shit.
Was obliterated by all the knowledge and power that he could not, as a human, like handle. So all magic turned off in the world. And that was super awkward for the floating cities, several floating cities around the world that just, because there was no magic, they just dropped to the ground and exploded.
Part of Neverwinter is one of those cities.
Yeah. Great. But yeah, and then he didn't necessarily die. He's a rock now, I think. But yeah, Mr. came back. She's like, all right, bitches, no more 10th level spells, and put a hard cap on the weave.
No. Mom said no.
Mom said no. So
no,
yeah,
they
that's
died.
Miriam.
Yeah,
Miriam's gonna do that to all of us.
It killed him and petrified him.
Yeah, there you go.
So I looked it up. The spell is called Karsus's Avatar, but is also referred to as Karsus's Folly as well, because anyone who knows of it is like, don't try.
Yep, don't do it.
Don't
and
try
Miriam's
it.
Gonna do it. Miriam's gonna do it to
Yep.
all of the world, and he's gonna do it with a big fat smile on his face.
Listen, we're hanging out right now with the robot who was designed to pilot a bigger robot that's designed to kill the god of magic, and somehow I'm the one that's gonna do it.
He's not gonna do it, though.
Okay, but what if he does?
You're gonna
know.
voluntarily do it.
Okay, but I don't know. Flux might like feel compelled or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't think
Besides,
so.
I don't know.
Who's more likely to do it?
Vestia's tried to
maybe.
kill me once. If I try and kill them once, then we're even.
Yeah, it's even
Oh
Steven's
my god!
And also, you know what? Fuck Vestius. Fuck her.
It's fair. Vestius kind of sucks.
No, she's the worst.
I really want her to be so nice.
Dude,
Like, I want her to be kind of a cinnamon roll, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I feel so bad for hating you for so long.
Hi there, I'm Vestius.
They're like, yeah, I
and,
feel really
I'm
bad
here-
about all these things I have to
No,
do.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
He's like, no, bad things just happen to happen, you know, and sometimes it's necessary. Just like a southern doll, kind of like.
I'm just trying to picture that voice coming out of her art, and it is
The gods have this
Yes.
indecipherable heavenly accent that no one on earth possesses. Hey, y'all, how you doing?
How's it going?
Oh, it's so good.
It's beautiful.
Oh my god.
Bring the grip.
That's what celestials sound like.
Listen, because we have Fenris.
All angels have some variant of a southern accent.
Well, hi y'all, what's up? Well, now because
Hey there, I'm a
Fenris
David.
Fenris can speak celestial, so now I'm just gonna picture anytime Brayden says she does, Brayden's just doing, I'm a cowboy, baby.
True canon. Just don't ask Logan about it.
Don't ask Logan about it. Don't bring it up to him. Just know in your heart that they all sound like they have southern accents.
He's honor bound to say no, but just listen
We
to
all
your
know.
heart and you know it to be true.
Come on, we all know.
Would we lie to you?
Never. No, never.
Nah.
Just don't think too hard about it. But there is something I want you guys to think about, because I'm gonna roll the dice. Ooh, it's exactly what I wanted. Good transition dice. Thank you. Well, that just worked out, didn't it? It was the question I wanted, and that just worked out really well. For both of you. For Arden and Emmanuel.
Oh my god. Our
You-
first, like, non-vestige question
I know.
of the day.
See, that's why I was excited about Wits and Crits, because then it's everybody. It's all the questions.
So for Arden and Emmanuel, you both argue constantly. What is the source of frustration for each of you?
He's a little brat.
Big sticky butthole.
Okay, but elaborate.
I don't know if there is any elaboration needed.
It's like Manny is very much a child, and
Yeah.
at some point, Arden was decided to be the enemy. And so he kind of wants to bully him, but is incapable of doing so in like a meaningful way. And so he bullies him like a 12-year-old would.
Yeah. And Arden has the displeasure of dealing with a 12-year-old.
Come on, Spencer. He's 13. Come on.
What
Almost.
big difference.
He's turning
Almost.
13.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I bet he counts the months. It's like, I'm 12 3/4. Like,
You fucking know he
Yeah.
does.
What a perfect little boy.
That's super it though. Just like, he's just a little brat who won't leave me alone.
Yeah, he's like,
Who will constantly point ring hand at people and possibly explode us. It's like, well, it's better just get rid of the stupid hand.
I think the big thing is that he's also one of the only sources of authority around him that's the closest in age, other
Yeah.
than like visually Theo. But he
Yeah.
likes
Yeah.
Theo, so he's never going to be mean to them. So he's like, well, you keep telling me not to do things, but all the other people who tell me not to do things are like 50, and that's basically 1,000 years old, and I can't tell them no. But you're like, you know, you're only kind of an adult. So fuck you.
Absolutely.
Even
It's
though
like,
Arden's like absolutely an adult, he's just
Yeah.
younger than Nicolo. So you're like, no, you don't get to tell me what to do. You're not dead.
That's so the vibe. It's like,
nobody else in the party sees him as a problem. Like,
I mean, Theo sees that is like, hey, what if you don't? But she just has a different approach of, hey, let me steal your hat briefly. That's the source of your power,
Yeah.
right?
nobody wants to
Right.
parent him, so Arden's like, well,
Sure, he's very easy to disable.
yeah.
That's why, like, Ma really just lifts him up a lot. He's like, well, this is me now. Because I refuse to contest those checks. I'm like, no, they just do.
Yep.
I love that so much.
Yeah, do it. You just do it. It's perfect.
I love them. They really do, like, feel like brothers. Just, it feels like a
Don't tell
sibling
them that.
argument.
I'm going to blue you. I don't know when, but before this campaign's over, you are getting blued.
What does blued mean?
I'm going to make you blue.
Yeah. It's also just the amount of times that the ring has fucked Arden in particular. It's like
It's true.
Targeted.
It's true.
It's
Stupid
genuinely
deer.
fucked over Arden and Manny more than anyone else.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's really funny.
If it affects everybody, it's either nothing or mildly useful. If it affects only Manny, it's always negative. And if it affects Manny or Arden, it's generally negative.
Yeah. It's just.
I remember when I nearly got petrified. I had like a bunch of ways out of it. But I was like, wouldn't that be a way for that character to go out?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
One of my
an enemy didn't kill the child this time.
One of my favorite things on that ring is the stun effect that hits you. Just like, man, that was really cool.
Just standing there with nothing going on. I'm like, yeah!
It just feels so very Manny, and I love it so.
It does. It
Just
really
literally just imbues him with a head cannon. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe Dante just killed that guy. Where'd he go?
How mad is Manny gonna be? Or did we already tell him that
No.
Dante?
That's tomorrow. And I don't know if we'll even tell him.
Oh, I
Heckin'.
might.
Don't you dare.
Speaking of Dante, I'm not even gonna roll for this question because it's just a good segue. Heckin', now that Dante is a factor for us in DMS,
Welcome.
and he could be a potential threat to your friend Fionnuala Arden. What are
I'll
your
kill
current? You know, I don't even need to finish this question.
Piece of shit.
What are your current opinions on your rival Devil Hunter? Are you like even more concerned for
No
Theo?
change.
No change.
Probably more animalistic towards it.
Yeah.
No, he decided his opinion of Dante without ever meeting him. and he was sticking to his guns because he's stubborn.
Just keep hearing about him taking your jobs.
Yeah.
Being a reckless goon.
Yeah. Keeps taking his goddamn jobs. Those were his damn jobs.
Dante took your job.
Took your
Never
jobs.
forgive.
He's gonna take the sword pieces out of your not girlfriend. It's gonna be a bad time.
It's like, no, we'll find another way. He's the only person in the world who can do this, Arden. We'll find another way.
It's the only way.
He's gonna take this opportunity to drive a sword through your neck. I don't know. It's gonna be terrible. Because he's just that kind of person.
Oh, well done. Fuck.
He's a scum. Villainy incarnate.
I'm sure you're right.
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
But yeah, no, that's his, I think pretty tame, opinion of Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No animosity.
No.
Really measured, you know?
Really mad. It's like, I really think that was a warranted,
It was a warranted response.
warranted
He
reaction.
touched my
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Fucking touched me.
What?
Because he high-fived him and.
Oh yeah. You have to wash his hand vigorously now.
It's the opposite.
Two reactions, yeah. I need to wash my hands. I'm never washing this hand again.
I was gonna say, like, it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
I
love it. Just angry
Yeah.
Arden just gives me so much joy.
It's very funny. Can't believe Dante's in here.
I
It's
can.
ridiculous.
Also, his art is just beautiful.
It is very good.
He's
It's
so
very good
hot.
art.
I can't wait to not see it.
Has Logan not even shown you?
I've been vaguely aware that he showed up, and I know that Manny doesn't know, so I didn't ask any more questions. I was like, cool, that's all I need to know.
That's fair.
Great.
You're a better person than I am. I'm a nosy bitch.
Oh, it's especially as Manny, like, he kind of would want... It's not that Manny wouldn't want to know, it's that Manny wouldn't believe you, in the same way that he's definitely spoken to Dante on the radio, and everyone's like, that's probably Dante, and he's like, shh, shut up.
Because his brain would
It could
explode.
not be.
That's impossible.
Could just be a really good Dante impersonator.
Does he
Aw.
know what Dante sounds like?
Probably, yeah. Because the Knights
Okay.
would. That's how he learned about Dante
sure.
through the Knights.
Oh, sure, yeah, that makes sense.
And the Knights are like, you don't want to be like Dante. And he's like, you can float with guns?
Of course you want to be like Dante.
That's why he has his red fucking trench coat.
Oh,
God, he's so cute.
someone
God,
take this gun away from this child.
No, let the child have a gun. It's funny.
Give someone give him a second one. Let him try.
No!
Oh my, if he had the stats, he would absolutely be like, I'm multiclassing Way of the Rebellion, let's go. But he
Oh,
can't.
hell yeah.
I'll train you. Let's go.
Fucking, because we're talking about Emmanuel, the dice don't matter right now. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna ask you this question because it's been on my brain. For Imani, Gino asked you recently if you'd want to leave the Knights of Ulyssia with him. Is that something you'd actually want to do so you can go find your mom? Or would you just prefer to stay with the Knights?
Manny doesn't know where to look. Like, he's thought about it as much as a kid would. Like, he misses his mom. He's a child.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that you can get into with like millions of different thoughts that can shoot through a kid's head. Like, I know personally as an adult who was kind of like that kid. So he wants to find his mom, but he wouldn't know what to do if he did find them.
Yeah.
And he's not going to run away from the Knights because his entire life since being taken by them has been drafting him with this idea that he has a responsibility to the planet, and that if there's a choice between a civilian living and him dying, or him living and the civilian dying, he should die. And that has been like his day in and day out, that he is a well-trained little soldier. As much as he breaks the rules all the fucking time, those are still things he's had to repeat to himself, which is kind of dark. But because of that, he's also built a family there. You know, Colleen acts as kind of a surrogate mom. Hell, everyone kind of moms him. Like, basically any older feminine figure in the Knights has treated him somewhat like a parent because he's a kid. He needs parenting. And he seeks that kind of attention out, but he's also not going to run away from them. Like, that would be something that'd be really hard for him. So he could be made to do it, but he wouldn't know what to do, where to go, or why. And he doesn't want to go find his dad. Like, he knows where his dad is because he was taken. Like, his dad is like, yeah, here, have him. And that was that. And so he's not old enough to really try and process whatever those feelings are, let alone try and talk to his dad and be like, hey, what was that about? Whether or not his dad had a choice is a whole other thing. But as a kid, he's like, no, I don't want to deal with that. That's not a now thing. So probably not. Like, he probably would never really leave the Knights because A, that would piss them off, and B, they trained him not to, and he's a well-trained boy.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Gino could make him, and they would go somewhere.
Yeah.
But he has no idea where to look and a whole planet to cover. So he's like, he's more likely to find his mom staying with the Knights. Like, that's not Emmanuel's thoughts. That's my thoughts. The Knights deal with magic and things that shouldn't be. And as far as we know, his mom was like a witch. So she's gonna be around somewhere, and he's got a better shot being with them. The only thing that would make him immediately like abandon the Knights is if Dante's like, you want to work for me, and he'd be like, but that'll never happen. So that's not gonna be what his future holds.
Yeah, that's fair. Heck, it's been on my brain since like Gino asked. I'm like, God, That has a lot of there'd be so many ramifications from that.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Gino really cares. Again, much like anyone else who kind of has to babysit Manny, a lot of people care about Manny, and he cares more about Manny's emotional state than the Knights have the not the capability of. It's not like Colleen and Adric and everyone else don't think about those things. It's just that kind of like how Manny won't leave them because he feels he doesn't really have the option. They can't really be like, yeah, you want to go find your mom, kid? Because what are they going to do? Are they going to demand her to give this 12-year-old answers? They are just as much incapable of doing anything about it as he is. Mm-hmm. And so in a weird way, it's like asking an adopted child if they want to find their biological parent. Yes and no. The answer is both.
It's a mixed bag.
But combine that with being effectively drafted into a military, and he's not going to go AWOL because he wants to see his mom. He's got 2 moms right now.
Yeah, true. Both pink-haired hotties.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all the moms he needs.
All the moms. Well, I don't have moms for you, but I have questions. So, yeah.
These transitions are really good.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Here you go. Fucking... It's for both of you. Yeah. Listen, being awkward is part of my charm, man. If I could roll
Speaking of questions, I've got more.
Got more. Ryuji, shut up. Come here. I know it's dinner time, but I need you to be quiet. Okay. Is there any information about NPCs? This is for both of you. Is there any information about NPCs that you are dying to know? Or that you're just interested in? For any game, really.
I want to know about Shadow Krusk.
Yeah.
Give me more of that. I want to know about... Who else do I want to know about? Not that.
Not your girlfriend in Vestige?
No, I don't need that. Vogan of all people would not care.
I know.
I think.
No, I know he wouldn't. I'm
like,
just giving you
to
shit.
him, it's like, oh, the past is the past. Like, fucking, you are here now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't know. They like books. They gave me this bracelet. We're basically married.
Was that a proposal? I think that was a proposal.
Sure, buddy.
One sec. Let me go get my marriage paint. It's made out of the blood of bears, conveniently enough.
I've been saving it.
I always knew this day would come. Tears pouring down his face. He's just smearing bear blood and ink on himself.
Merriman's just like,
Traditional hobgoblin tradition.
That honestly sounds kind of lit, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not smearing yourself with bear blood, but but wedding paint sounds cool as fuck.
Wedding
It
war
does.
paint.
It reminds me of those like really sick henna tattoos you see at a lot of Indian weddings.
Yeah, that's super neat.
One of my coworkers had a huge wedding, and they were besties with tons of my coworkers. So like all of the really pretty girls I was working with for like a month just had these really sick henna tattoos, and I was like, that is awesome.
That's so cool.
I love henna. It's so neat.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Aaron? Are there any NPCs that you're like, ooh, I want to know more about you, though?
I mean, Greg, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I expected.
The Bat King, weirdly enough. I would love to learn more about whatever's going on with him. He's really interesting. This isn't me as Mariam, but Aaron wants to know more about Fosh and whatever the fuck just happened.
Dude!
Yeah.
But that's kind of an obvious answer. Outside of that, whatever like Satsumaru's patron is, because it's like it sounds like it's like the vestige of a dead Eidolon or something.
Yeah.
It is some big deal thing, whatever they found. And that's sick. I love dead gods. So I want to know more about that. Satsuma herself. I want to know more about, along with Elmira, because I want to know if they were kissing, because good for them. Good for them.
Good for them.
You know, our...
They probably were.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably. You know who I want to know about, like after the fact. Looking, I want to know what the fuck's happening with Tiger Chi.
Dude, I'm gonna transition to a question about Tiger Chi after that. Because I've got a question literally that is that. Is I want to know what the fuck is going on with Tiger Chi.
Yeah, there's tons of characters that I kind of want to hunt small bits out, but a lot of it's stuff that we can't get. Like, there's a lot of people we know that I would love to learn more about, but in a passive way that I know I'm going to whenever it becomes relevant. But the things that me separate the character would really want is like Quintus's mom and whatever they're doing, and this shadow organization connected to Velis, who I also want to know more about, and how they're hunting her or something because they have a specific primal gemstone, and whatever the fuck that body inside the Valor built estate is, which seems like it might be another at least sleeping god.
Yeah, that's my theory. I can't wait to break in there.
I don't think it'd be the Nemesine, but
no.
Whatever it is, we know. I'm tentatively she's there, and that's really interesting, and I want to know more about it. And Velis as a entity also seems to be a really, really ancient, like as ancient as Greg even, entity that is basically the biggest source of pain in almost the entire Highest Standards lives.
Yeah.
And so, as our de facto antagonist, Velis holds a great deal of interest for me right now. But more than that, Quinn's mom, and whether or not they were like, I can't remember the word off the top of my head. It's escaping me, and I know like water or sand, the more I grasp at it, the more it'll slip away. What Hirohito is. Demigod, effectively.
Yeah, basically, it's like
for lack of a better word,
like being made into a god, essentially.
Yeah, you have the potential to become one.
Yeah, they have like blood something. I don't remember.
I can't remember the exact word, but yeah, because
that good blood.
Quintus seems to have inherited some resistance to adamantic radiation, and if it's from anyone, it's the grand hero of the land away, his mom. It would make perfect sense. So that's neat and interesting, and I would love to know more about that.
There's so many threads to pull on.
Tons and tons. It's a big world, and it makes sense that, we're probably not even going to see all of them ever tied up.
Nope.
And that's what other campaigns are going to be for.
Yep. Yeah. And not tying up all the threads is going to leave my brain buzzing for the rest of the
angry about it for the rest of time.
Because you know how I want to be.
No, I mean, in a perfect world, we will have done so much in Somnus Domina as a whole that it would be truly impossible for us to have learned everything.
Yeah.
But and this is just another aspirational thing for me, I would love to see Somnus Domina grow as, not just as a literal like enterprise as we're trying to make it a setting, but just because it's for us. Like, I would love to have a giant poster of the map of Somnus Domina on one of my walls, and be able to, over years, corkboard the journeys of different parties and people, and create that breathing world. It's a lot like when the Realms started out, or when Dragonlance started out. They were kind of small in scope, but became so big that they have multiple books and things written within them, and that stuff just tickles me. Seeing like a world come to life is really, really fun for me.
I love that, and I'm super in the same boat.
Good answers. I have more questions. Ooh, it's for Spencer. And roll the dice. I already asked that one. That's the same fucking number. Man. Okay, cool. Got it. Vogan. Ryuji, it's not about you. You can go have a date with your girlfriend Barry later, okay? I've decided you're dating. Anyway, for Vogan, speaking of relationships, your relationship...
Yes, Hayden.
Your relationship with Mary Mist. You two are very sweet together, and there's a lot of genuine trust. However, you don't know much about her. Any plans to connect more with her when you return to Summergrass?
Maybe. It's a little difficult to communicate with her. Besides through like writing everything down.
It's
and
really good you never picked that like Vogan was illiterate or something.
Yeah, right.
She has to teach you to read so you can be like, oh no,
Right.
I do like you too.
Yeah. Oh no, that'd be bad. Vogan used to have an intelligence of 14 before the card he pulled took it away.
What is it now?
It's a 10 now.
Yeah, said it's a 10.
Ugh. 4 points. It was rough. But as far as like his plans with Mary Mist, like getting her to like finding out more about her, I don't know. I don't think he'd push for that, honestly. Like if she wanted to tell him about any of that, like he would be all ears. Like that's all fine. But it would be a little hypocritical of him to try and dig for someone's past if they don't want to talk about it.
I can already kind of, this is my guess, is that he is going to effectively, not like intentionally, but effectively give a book report on the books that she gave him.
Gosh, you're right, though.
They're just to have a book club.
That'll be their weird little date.
Oh,
I could see it.
that's adorable.
So
Like
fucking
I would love that. That sounds so fun.
As you're like, do you want to get food, but they won't want to leave the book, so you're going to eat in the library, and it's going to be a whole ass problem. And it'll be great because you're breaking the rules.
We're breaking the rules. We're troublemakers.
You're naughty nerds.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Picturing someone just coming in, it's like, can you not, please?
Yeah.
Librarian or like Fenris. Just trying to
Yeah,
like, you're gonna
Fenris,
get crumbs
obviously.
on the books. As those two just slowly turn. Never mind, just carry on.
It's like, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I would love to see Mary Mist try and look menacing, because like they're dangerous by all actual, like any regular person would be right to be a little afraid of her.
We're like 10 levels above her now.
But they're like a total cutie at the same time. And so seeing her try and look intimidating, even though she magically is, trying to just the grr face from Mary Mist. Be like, oh no, what are you going to do? Give me a hug that's so nice I die?
It's just, I expect it to be like a little pout, just like the puffy cheeks, like,
Oh, that with her harem protagonist hair.
yes!
Oh, it's great.
Oh, I love her.
I posted a picture of like Jigglypuff in our call chat of
Oh my
just,
god. Yeah,
just getting
dude,
all mad.
That's exactly the face that I just made when I was the puffy cheeks, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like,
I love
Oh, that's
it.
what I need. I
want
need
it.
that.
I need to commission art
Something-
of that now.
It's
She
like
needs to do art
a
so bad.
moment of
She
perspective
deserves
in D&D in general is like Mary Mist can kill an average person in Summergrass with like a look. They can just flick their wrist and they're just dead.
Yeah.
They have no chance.
He can literally kill people with a vicious mockery.
Oh yeah, my vicious mockery is now stronger than a greatsword.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's intense. It's just I have other spells that are even more dangerous. So I use those normally.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Mary Mist could wipe most people out, and they're not super high. Like they're strong, but they're not super strong. Conversely, all of us again could at a drop of a hat do that to Mary Mist.
Yeah.
We are terrified because it's easy to get kind of
Yeah.
lost in the sauce. And I remember a lot of people. This is kind of a rant, so I'll keep it
Nah,
brief.
go for it.
But a lot of people implement like these minion rules where a lot of like guards and other enemies after a certain level only have 1 HP, and then other certain like more important characters like captains or other people will actually have their regular HP bars, and so you get that experience of being able to fight off a horde, and that's kind of cool. But honestly speaking, unless you're using max HP rules for all these minions, you're probably gonna die in one hit anyway. Like, most of them have like 10 to maybe 20 max HP. Most of them are like 4 to 12 is your general range for most regular people. A couple guards, especially in the realms, have beefier stats, but most of the time, no, you're gonna walk through them like nothing because they're like slightly buffer than your average person, and a civilian has like 4 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Just gonna cleave right through him. Because we're
4 rounds in a ring with a cat and they're done.
Let's just take over Summergrass. Let's just, let's just do it.
Let's do it. Listen, I'll just bring that heckin' black-footed cat home if Logan lets me keep it. And I'll just release it into Summergrass, be like, it'll do my job for me.
I mean, you know, carrying it back would be a nightmare because it'd bite the heck out of you. But if we just teleport back, you just
Exactly.
chuck it in a bag and be like, all right, stop screaming. And then once it's inside the estate, it's inside the estate.
Yep. Oh, just take it out hunting. It's like, I'm going to do things. Goodbye. I'm going to take my cat to hunt and kill.
Chewing on Argo.
I would. Just
Like,
yeet it at
stop.
him. It's like, get fucked.
Love it.
Anyway, ask another question.
Nah, give it to Tanti. I'm sure would love that.
Oh, true.
She really knows her way around a pussy.
Oh my god.
Poppy would probably agree with that.
We were just talking about wholesome shit.
Hey, lesbians are wholesome.
It's fair. It's fair.
Oh,
Now I need a picture of cottagecore lesbians.
let's fucking go.
Little summer dresses, nice little like Anna Green Gables house.
Oh, it'd be so cute.
Aw.
Heckin' is for Aaron. Reggie, I need you to shut the fuck up. Anyway, you're ruining my show.
I'm so sorry, but you'll ruin Hayden's show.
Like their namesake, just ruining everything.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a DM question for you, Aaron.
Sorry, the dungeon master. Meh.
Meh. What's up, Dungeon Meowster?
Meow.
When you're prevented, I speak the words. I was narrating all day, word hard. As a DM, when you're presented with the opportunity to let the players, just be the machinations of their own chaos, do you add fuel to the fire, or do you sit back and watch? And what are some of your favorite things to, like, get up to as a dungeon master?
Sometimes I add fuel to the fire, but more often than not, I will, if it seems like everybody's gonna just go off and do whatever, I will shut the fuck up. I rant about this all the time, so again, I'll try and keep it brief. I have a philosophy I've been experimenting with over the past 2 years, roughly, about, I guess 3, because it started with Miriam. Learning to DM and learning D&D, you learn a lot of rules, you learn a lot of stipulations, things you have to do, you want to be good at, and it's all good to know. You should know those things. But I think one of the things that really holds you back is holding on to those things as well. So you need to also learn to let them go. And so I've been trying to kind of let everything go as much as possible and just let things be what they be. If someone pulls a rug on me and tells me something's true, unless it's literally a lateral shift in the universe, I'll probably just try to be like, yeah, sure. Like, what does it really matter? Because I think that lends to more creative aspirations on the player's part. Mm-hmm. If they know that they can make a bold choice and have me try my best to support it. And so, especially when the party is up to whatever knuckleheaded hijinks, it's really entertaining. So me as a showman, I'm like, they're fine. This is good content. So that part of my brain is happy. I don't need to do anything there. I'm not afraid that it's going to be boring because I'm surrounded by very entertaining people. So I can let that go. And the one thing I don't want to do if I'm trying to add any fuel to the fire is I don't want to stifle anything. So sometimes you'll hear me begin to talk or something and then shut up because I'm always trying to listen for a stopping point. And if people are trying to wind down, if they're kind of done whatever they're doing, I want to move on so we can keep playing, we can keep the game going, because we don't want to just sit there in silence for 20 minutes unless it's really entertaining, intense silence. So knowing when to step in and kind of scene wipe or move to something else is good, but I don't want to do it early either. I don't want to feel like I'm cutting the scene. I want to feel like, okay, you're done, we move on. Because we could literally never get around to doing the stuff in any of the games I'm doing. I don't care. Me as a player, as a dungeon master, it's cool if we do, and we should adventure and kill things, because that's D&D. That's a part of it. But if a whole session is just the party really getting into their characters, that doesn't bother me at all. I know there's a few people who prefer we adventure, and so I try and again always make sure that some of that is in. But sometimes I'm like, no. And literally, again, this has happened twice now. The last big emotional session in Princes is the second session I've ever had anyone message me about and say, what a good job you did as a DM. And this is the second time I've been like, I did nothing. my trick, the trick to being a fantastic DM is shutting up and letting your players do their thing, and is great. And while, especially with such a big game, there is a balancing act, because you have to know when other people are literally doing nothing and you want to make sure they're involved. I was kind of happy that even the people who were less involved in that session they still had stuff to do, because you don't want anyone to be doing nothing. That's where like a lot of big complaints around stun and paralyzed come from, is you don't want to be sat at the table waiting to be allowed to play. So keeping everyone involved in a meaningful way is really, really fun. But at the same time, we're all showmen. We know it's a show, and sometimes people are going to have a scene, and that's also really good, because those scenes can be impactful, entertaining, and great. So I don't tend to try and add fuel to the fire. I will occasionally add a comedy thing in, or I'll have someone who, like, if an NPC is in the room and everyone kind of just forgot they're there, because that happens all the time, they'll pipe up because they're like, should I not be here? And or they'll have a joke or something at hand, and I'll try and contribute where I can as an improviser. But as the DM, while we're all playing D&D and my fun is also important, I am much more invested in having the party have fun. I don't need an NPC to be a big part of a scene if they don't have to be. The story is about the members of the party. It's about people hanging out at the obsidian halls. So I'm going to fill it with people they might want to talk to, but if they're talking to each other, that's just as good for me. It's, again, less for me to do. I can sit down, shut up, and they can be fabulously entertaining and make really, really good stories. All I have to do is listen to what they tell me what they want to do, and then put that in front of them so they can do that. I think that answers it.
Yeah, that answers it. You know that I think this, but I love playing with you, like, as a dungeon master. Like, you have, like, such a different style than, like, other DMs that I've played with, and, like, it's just always very, like, loose, but in a controlled way, if that makes sense, and it's just always so much fun.
Yeah, you gotta keep the D&D, because it's D&D, that's what we're all playing. If we were not gonna play that, might as well play Call of Cthulhu or Cyberpunk. But just because we're playing D&D doesn't mean we can't stop and be theater kids for a little bit.
Exactly. And that's the vibe, and I love it.
I super look up to people like Brendan Lee Mulligan, who, like, 99% of what he does is, like, he has plans and stuff, but he's, like, light years ahead of me in the way that players will declare stuff. I think Logan was telling me in an interview about, I don't know enough, so I'm not going to be able to recount what actually happened, which is good. There's no spoilers here. Someone in, I think it was when he was doing Calamity for Critical Role.
Yeah.
They declared that they had found, like, the last piece of an invention they were working on. And later on, he's like, that was the last piece. He's like, I had a whole thing for the actual last piece. That was like the second or third last piece. But they said it, and they felt like that story beat was done, and so they were right. And the ability to throw that away and just support that is something I super, super look up to. I think that's a really, really good skill as a dungeon master to have, because I think one of the worst places you can get to as a DM is my precious setting mode, where you want to keep your story, you want to hang on to whatever you got. That's the big thing, is you don't want to keep that. I just used a wrong word. We make adventures. We don't make stories. Stories happen in adventures, but again, the story belongs to the party.
Yeah.
That doesn't belong to the dungeon master. And what happens is that if you start really writing a story, what you're doing is creating a bunch of things that are happening that the party just happens to be there for, which is not necessarily bad, but generally you will have people in D&D parties feel like they're a B team that just happens to be there and is cleaning up someone else's mess. And that's where you see like DMPCs start creeping in, because you need the events of the story to happen the way that they need to happen, that you wrote them, you wrote the story, and it needs to happen now. And at any given opportunity, if something cool is happening, it should be the party doing it. Rule of thumb. Cool things can happen when villains do it too, but that's because they're doing it to the party. But if you have like a really neat NPC or a bunch of stuff that's happening, unless there's a lot to earn that, it will always be better if the magic sword or, the magic forge that you need to forge a god weapon is in the hands of a party member over just Doug. Because Doug doesn't matter, the party does, and everyone wants to feel that, Lord of the Rings moment where you pick up the fucking sword of your heritage and hold it up in the moonlight. That's cool. But watching it, while it could be nice, I guess, it's just not what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to yell for Gondor.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You want to, even if you're like, you could totally run a really fun campaign about being the B team, but that's eventually going to kind of not be true. Like a great example of this in our games is Hadrick. Hadrick is just a guard. In the same way that Rory is just a guard, except eventually that's not true for Hadrick anymore. Hadrick is just a guard, but he's a guard with +2 fucking radiant plate mail, a laser sword, and a princess who really wants that D. He's declared himself king of a non-existent country, and he is absolutely elevated himself out of that, whether or not the character likes it. And a reticent hero is fantastic. I love that shit. But the same thing kind of occurs in the B team, where if you want to do a B team campaign, they'll eventually be doing A team shit, but treating it like they're still the B team. And that's great for comedy games. But even then, again, you're still doing cool things. You're just doing cool things in maybe a funnier way.
B teams it's like, man, we're saving the world. I wonder what the A teams do. They're probably saving the universe.
They're probably so cool, and they're sitting around drinking. Like 2 of them are making out. It's like the typical D&D experience where it's like they're fucking around having a magic game while these guys are like sweating. There's goblin blood everywhere. They're like, we need to deactivate the machine. We're all gonna die. It's like, my God, they must be fighting the dragon upstairs. Dragon's like sitting there like, they're gonna. They were coming, right?
Pulls out pocket watch, like, where are they? I want to play in this game. This sounds fun.
Yeah, it was like kind of the goofballs. That's Konosuba. Like, you can totally have a really fun experience doing all sorts of stuff. But even when you're doing a comedy game, generally speaking, there is still the cool stuff happening, even if it's stupid cool stuff. It's just what is cool changes. I don't know, I'm just getting into DM dogma at this point, so I'll cap it there, because I'll go for hours.
No, I love it, though. Thank you. Well, I'm going to ask y'all 2 more questions, because we're getting close to time. So, Ryuji? I know you're hungry, but shut the fuck up. Yeah. Okay, Spencer. It's for Spencer.
Yes. What's up?
All right.
You didn't hear it because I was on push to talk, but I'm playing with this little fidget toy, and I accidentally dropped it. I freaked out. I screamed.
I was like, oh, is it not another candle lid?
No, it's not. It's a little spinny cube thing.
Oh, a little fidget cube, kind of.
A little fidget, kinda. It just
Kinda.
spins. It's just fidget spinner in the form of a cube.
That sounds
That's
pretty
it.
great, though. Honestly,
It
I
is.
want that. But I also want an answer. To
So
this
hard to
question.
hold. I'd rather
Tagashi.
talk about this cube thing.
I know you would, but it's my show, so I'm gonna ask you this question, and you can tell me to f off and not answer it, and just talk about
Alright,
your
fine.
cube. But I am gonna ask this question. For Tagachi, for Tagooch, the Gooch boy,
For the gooch.
for the Gooch, for Aviana's totally
Upsetting.
not dad. What's the first major thing on your to-do list after leaving Honokuni? Do you have any specific goals? Is there anything that Tagooch wanted to do upon leaving?
To gooch. Find his family. For one, like, probably get them away from Setsumaru.
Huh?
Probably like as discreetly as possible. What? And that's a tall ask.
Yeah.
So don't know how well that went. Of course, and Logan also might just have separate plans for this. But no, I feel like his first thing would be to try and make sure his family is safe. And then go with finding some way to continue his goal of finding a way to help Setsumaru in not being a vampire.
Still wants to cure her vampirism and all that.
Yes.
I
That
mean,
is-
think about timelines. See how that fucking goes.
He hasn't succeeded for like a while now.
Yep. I mean, we'll fucking see. We'll see,
Yeah.
because we've just been in the cauldron. Tagachi's been doing who knows what for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long quest. He's not gonna die anytime soon. He's outlived his whole family by this point. Presumably.
Unless he didn't, and he's got like a notebook somewhere, and he's
Yeah.
like, "All right, Mary, he made a fucking promise."
He dies off screen. It's like, man, that sucks.
It's totally possible.
I mean, it is.
Oh, that's
Fucking-
rough.
That would be
like-
an oofers.
That'd be such
Yeah.
an oofers. It just made me think, because, like, he wants to get his family away from Setsumaru, so he's, like, super aware of, like, how, like, fucking dangerous she is, because did the fight that he had with, like, the illusory version of, like, the Crystal Queen, that we had was, like, did it change, like, how he viewed, like, his mission to her, like, especially after, like, he took down, like, Avi and Fenris and, like, slices Miriam in half?
Yeah.
Like, do you have doubt? Like, does he have doubts about her, or is he still, like, pretty devoted to her in spite of
If
all that?
anything, he's more devoted. It's like
Damn.
I need, like, he needs the old Setsumaru back at this point. Like, this is not Setsumaru anymore. Like, there's not a hint of her left. So he's even more desperate to find an answer for this vampirism thing now.
Yeah.
like,
It's fair.
No, it hasn't really changed. His conviction is stronger. The desperate search is on for a way. Finding a way to get a wish spell somehow. He found a deck of many things, but the card for the wishes was pulled.
It's like, well, shit.
Somewhere. That's a joke, by the way, for anybody listening. That didn't actually happen.
That's just in my brain.
No, it's just in my brain. But yeah, that's a tough ask. I don't know if he's found any sort of answer or is on the way to finding an answer to any of that.
Yeah, we'll find out, because, like, we'll see how letters work, if at all.
Right?
Because it's like, hey, write me letters, Papa Tag.
Yeah, I feel like the moment we're out of the cauldron, it's like, all right, sending spells. Here, everywhere. Like, it's like, all right, we gotta check in. Where is everyone?
Dude, that's what I want to do. And I'm like, it's not even just like, hey, let me message my boy. It's like, hey, let's make sure Argo's good and not going like to the fucking tundras. Let's check in. Like, hey, Taguchi, you still out there, buddy?
Yeah.
Like, where is everybody right now? We need to do.
It's
like,
real convenient that we're stuck in a ball that won't let us talk to them.
Yeah.
Yup.
Stupid. Technically not a demi-plane.
May as well be.
Fucking yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Fine.
It makes sense that he can't. Like, the gods would be like, no. Because there's definitely tons of items in here that would just be as dangerous if they could just send telepathic messages out of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's true.
One day we might see Taguchi or his body at some point.
I want to talk to my not dad.
Right? My next character is going to be his, like, grandson. Like,
God. I just had a stupid thing. It's like his grandson hits on Avi. She's like, no, it's weird.
oh, this is weird. Yeah.
No,
That is-
no.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
No.
Your
no.
grandpa was my dad.
Your grandpa
This
was
is-
like dad to me, and that
Yeah.
no.
No thanks.
No.
If it just hits on you as hard as Miriam does, like, oh.
Oh, I don't want to have to kill Taguchi's descendant.
Yeah.
He's making it real hard, though. It's like, I'm just...
Plot twist, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, she's very pretty. Tantia? Distraction! No. Distraction! It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask my boyfriend to arrest you. That'll solve my problem.
They're like named after somebody cares about. It's like, oh, their name is Fenris.
Yeah. Their name. It's like, oh, your name is Aviana too. Oh, that's cool.
Well,
That's crazy.
That's cool. Thanks, Taguchi. Great. It's fine.
Damn.
It's fine. But also, fine is a question for Aaron.
Hey-o. That was on point with these transitions.
Hey, I never said I was good at them. My awkwardness is part of my charm, man.
Speaking of segues.
Yeah.
All right. The final question of any Wits and Crits episode ever. I'm ending the show
Oh my
after
God.
today.
Meow, 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 meow.
For Miriam, are you need a hug, Lucius? Are you in need of a hug? Oh my god, I can't read.
What?
Well, that's on a recording forever.
Miriam, are you need a hug, Lucius? Are you need a hug? Are you need a hug? Hey, buddy, are you need a hug?
I was allowed to have a show. I never said it would be good. I never promised anything. I never promised quality. Listen, the only reason this show looks great is because of Kyo. Thanks, girl. Anyway, Miriam, are you okay and need a hug, Lucius? I did it.
I like the first version better.
Sad. I know. This is such a sad question, but I'm giggling through the whole thing. Okay. Given all the party has gone through, and all you've gone through with Quintus and trying to get him back, was there ever a moment where you thought you'd rather have Quintus hate you and resent you over his father's death? And now that you've brought back Lucent and saved Quintus from the clutches of Fierna, do you still feel like you need to help the highest standard? And if so, is it out of obligation or guilt, or some other feeling?
Kitty, are you need a hug?
For Quinn hating him, it would make his life a lot easier if that was like a recognized thing. But even again, Quinn only learned about that in Mott. That Miriam even had feelings about being responsible, because it was basically kept from him. Corvus knew. Corvus knew that that happened and actively used that to encourage Miriam to assist Quintus. And there was a great deal of personal responsibility in assisting Quintus early on. But he does care about Quintus a great deal, and he definitely wants to make sure he's okay. It's not like he can just leave.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually could just leave, but not in any way that would ever make him feel okay with doing so. At best, he could pull a Han Solo and get a town away and then turn around and be like, fuck. Because he can't really trust anyone to do anything right. It includes himself, but that's aside the point. He'll do it more right than most of them. And so he does feel a great deal of responsibility to most of the people of the highest standard. Especially because a lot of them are in different types of hot water, either directly or indirectly caused by him. Like, he can't leave Lexi alone. They're with that armor. And while he was like, hey, I've given you the full context of what taking this means, which does put them at odds with the Crystal Queen.
Yeah.
He has started letting go of feeling emotionally bound to every single thing he does. He's like, no, you're adults. Most every single member of the entire group is older than him. He is one of the youngest members. And he's like, hey, this is informed consent. If you choose to do this, that's on you. And I'm not gonna sit here and take the blame as though this is entirely my fault. We all agreed here.
Yeah.
And so, while he wouldn't necessarily feel like he is caused any harm to come to Lexi if that were to happen, he also just likes them. So he's like, I'm also not going to let you die. So he's not going anywhere or anything. But yeah, it would have been a lot easier if Quinn was capable of that kind of hatred of Miriam. But Quinn, being kind of a doof, will not do that. He will always talk his way around it. Even if he knows he's doing it. Like, I'm sure there's points where he's like, no, I am making excuses for Miriam. And he has his own internal guilt. That's valid. It's really valid. Quintus caused the opening that caused the attack that would have killed Miriam, that required him being saved to happen. It wouldn't have happened without the efforts of multiple people. And it was just a tragedy. So it would have been really, really nice if just bringing Lucent back could have absolved Miriam from the many feelings he has. But I think knowing he's done that and seeing it will be two different things.
Yeah.
Because he can know in his heart of hearts that it occurred, but unless he can physically grasp and speak with the man who saved his life and finish what he started with Quintus, he's probably not going to ever feel like he's truly done. And even then, now he's got his own things going on. He would love to just run around and retire and slam people in his illegal mansion for the rest of time, but that's also so non-aspirational, and that's so not Miriam. Like, he still has things he wants to learn. He's kind of mad at some of the gods now, and they're messing with his friends, and Miriam is, if anything, he's protective of the people around him.
Yeah.
At least the ones that can last long enough. So, yeah, I don't know. He's definitely there to protect everybody in what way a bard can. He's also always going to be of a mind where he's like, no, I'm not the main character of any story. Like, if we're talking about heroes, and he will lift up an Aviana or a Quintus and be like, look at this one. They are more interesting. These are hero-shaped. I am Miriam. I am a bard. I'm here to tell you about these hero-shaped people. You can lift up a Vogue. You can't lift up Vogan. But you can grab Vogan by the waist and pretend to lift and be like, look at this. It's hero-shaped.
What are you doing?
It's like when a kid tries to pick you up, and it's just like they kind of just like lift their like feet off the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, good enough. Did
it. Miriam is surrounded by people who books can be written about, but Miriam would be loath to want books to be written about him.
They would get him arrested if they were.
Aside from that, they can be, you know, posthumously published. He very much adheres to the idea that a bard is someone who tells stories. They are not people who should ever be the center of a story, or if they are, something has gone wrong.
It's like, oh no.
Because there are stories of, I'm sure, many famous bards, but the personal like dogma he would have almost certainly been trained as like, yeah, they surpassed their station. They were doing non-bard things.
Ooh.
The duty of a bard is dictated by their college of choice, and outside of that, they exist to tell and uncover a story and myth and legend, and in his case, magic.
Oh, it's gonna kill us. That's gonna kill us all.
I'm so interested because it's spiking questions, like so many more like questions that I have. Just like fuck it, I'll ask it now. But it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, this is, I'm like, is this an obvious question or a hated question? You know? I'm gonna save it. No, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for a rainy day.
Sweet.
All right.
I
I have a question for Miriam.
Yeah,
Why
go
isn't
for it.
Davia a bard question?
I have a question for Mariam.
Mariam.
Given given our group's split dynamics, how is Miriam feeling about being split like with the boys club and Flux? Given our not a ton of like interactions with each other, like we picked like the three characters.
That's
that
like the Shy Boy
don't
Squad
talk
and
as
Miriam.
much.
Yeah.
They don't talk
he
as
doesn't
much
mind
to
it
each
at all.
other.
He likes them all. Like anytime he has talked to anyone in that side, it's not ever been particularly rough. The only lamentable one, I think, was when Vogan's like, do you want a room together? And Miriam had to say no because Miriam really wanted to have sex with people.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know you well enough to feel comfortable doing that in the same room as you.
Yeah. Oh, although dramatic people went the opposite direction. Well, not including Miriam, but most of the dramatic people went off and had a episode.
Miriam's perfectly willing to do it because he has a strong degree of faith in the capabilities of everyone who went the other way. That side is if Vogan was also there, that is the most dangerous group immediately when it comes to just outward damage output. Like the ways that Flux and Miriam can be extremely dangerous often come from manipulation of magic or outside sources or the things we carry, or in Flux's case is blessing. But those are few and far between and generally require planning or certain assistance in execution. Miriam isn't dangerous on his own, or at least not to the kind of people we deal with. Miriam makes the people around him more dangerous.
The already dangerous people even more dangerous.
That the tactician in my brain is like, it is a travesty that you didn't put Miriam with a rogue, because Aviana or especially Lexi become infinitely more lethal when they're standing beside Miriam, because like Lexi has Death Strike, and that makes Tasha's hideous laughter and hold person just the most deadly things for him. Because a hold person's really good, but Tasha's works on a lot of things, and incapacitated is way easier. I can fire out those from the hip. I have tons of first level spell slots and other stuff to use, and getting Lexi those free sneak attack crits, especially if she manages to awaken those Constella queries and she gets her blessing, she's going to be doing D8 sneak attacks with free crits. Like Miriam and Lexi are a demon combination, and that's not to sell short Miriam and Aviana, who are also a demon combination.
It's just a different kind because of what the kits are, really.
But he can make rogues worse. And he can make fighters better and other stuff like functionally stronger, but that is his absolute best niche, is turning our rogues into gross monsters.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, he's confident that they will be fine. He's also a little upset that he's not with that group, not because he doesn't like the group he's with, but because Quintus is kind of a moron sometimes and will probably get himself into danger, and this is definitely not what was intended on Quintus's part. I can see a mixture of machinations that happened here. Is we sort of pre-agreed on what groups were going where, and I didn't really give input because I didn't really mind which direction I went as a player. But because we did that, the way that was done in universe was Quintus is like, you guys with me, Miriam, and you guys, you go over there. And it was super quick and dismissive. And so it was kind of like, hey, yo, what the fuck?
Like, it's just a little bit like, all right. I'm surprised that, like, Quinn wasn't like, hey, yo, I need to be with my bro. Like, my bestie.
Yeah, so there's like a bit of that, but I as a player can definitely understand it. Miriam as a character's like, all right, dog, fucking, you go work out whatever you're doing with your girlfriend. I'll just we'll deal with Diane and the I guess. Yeah, it's not something he's gonna really dwell on. He's like, I don't know, they'll be good. I think I'll kind of know when Praxis bites it. I'm not sure he's farther than a kilometer away, so I'll have no idea when Praxis bites it. So I'll just assume he's fine the entire time, and they're all going to come back A-okay. But otherwise, no, yeah. Again, we have a really, really tough group with the two meat boys. Like, there's a lot for Flux and Miriam to hide behind.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That gives us a lot of room to be awful in the ways that we can be. It also lets us see a little bit more of Sunder, which is really, really nice as a player.
Yeah.
I love the brief instances where we get to see flashes more, because like Vogan's not super outspoken, so we get to see more Vogan now. Or at least more of what Vogan can do when he's casually just hanging out or talking. Like the whole bit with Fosh. And that was like the most Krusk Vogan has ever been. It was delightful. I loved every second of it. But also just having him deal with the idiosyncrasies of Sunder, Flux, Miriam, and Clover as someone who's definitely not normal, but is like, I'm hanging out with a bunch of freaks.
A little bit.
Is really funny to watch. He's like, what's wrong with your house? And I'm like,
as the most normal person in the entire party, Vogan. I like the idea. It's just like, wow, look, all these weirdos.
Who's fucking talking?
And having only seen the grandma shark in passing, Miriam would have no idea how to go about attempting to flirt with a shark person. So, and it sounds like that wouldn't have been able to go anywheres. So yeah, he's like, we get the cute nerd. Yes.
Nice.
And so he's been really kind of obsessed with how the fuck they work, because by all intents and purposes, they should be dead. Like, they have a weird compass that their family had that let them bypass the need for the building we destroyed to get to the cauldron in one of the most dangerous mountain ranges in the world, and then got as far as one of the, what is it, not Gefriacardia, one of the other ones, one of those villages waiting for us, on their own. Aside from the fact that they're also a nerd, which Miriam rarely gets to talk to nerds. Like, the closest was Merrimist, and they didn't talk much. So he's like, I don't mean like literally speak. I mean like they didn't converse at all. It's like they're like magic, and they read books in the same room once. And if someone's gonna read a book quietly, Miriam's not going to interrupt, and he's happy to not be interrupted. So he's like, no, you seem cool. Outside of that, he doesn't get to nerd out much outside of the brief few times he has with Flux. So having kind of a book nerd being able to gush around him has been delightful. They're also like the most innocent person he's met in a long time. Like really the only other person who kind of got close is Lexi, but with both of them now, and this is probably just because he's a suspicious person, he's like, what else is going on here? With Clover as a player, I'm like, I think a lot more of this is literal sincerity. They're just kind of in over their head and a bit of a doof. But like Lexi is prone to a lot of doublespeak or evasiveness when it comes to anything about Lexi. And Miriam's been poking at that bear for 150 sessions now.
Don't say bear.
He's really, really interested in what's actually going on because they're not very external about their thought processes. And so his immediate stuff with a lot of Clover is like, all right, but are you like a master of deception? Like, is this all a persona? He's like, no, I don't think it is. I think you're just a nerd, but that's also great. And it reminds him of a lot of the comforts he had before he had to be an adventurer.
Yeah.
Which is a rare comfort for him.
Yeah, because she seems to have like she cut him to the quick. With some
that was
comments.
effectively vicious mockery. Like,
Like,
she got a read on him that few do very quickly.
You're lonely.
It's like,
Oh,
Jesus.
oh, that was rough.
Yeah, no, he would have basically left them alone after that if they didn't follow up or talk to him about anything else. Because he's like, all right, well, they're not interested, and damn, that hurt. And then they followed up, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, you were asking to have sex with me. And he's like, yes. Yes, I was.
Oh no, and I was mean to you. I'm sorry.
I still love the comments on the Griddler animation where someone's like, I love that they intuited that, yes, he's just a very lonely person, and then was like, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
went to bed. Which, like, I also get being like, all right, but I still don't know you. But I definitely didn't even have that thought process in mind. It was, I've recognized a fact. I'm gonna go have fun about the fact that I recognized that. Bye.
Bye.
God, that's why I think like she and Flux are so fun together.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I was like, it's just a bunch of nerds on your side.
Nerd out.
But yeah, there is, aside from the fact that, and this is definitely aided in Miriam's ability to mask himself, and he doesn't have to deal with the things he's dealing with because he's got more important things to deal with right now. And there's also just the weird hijinks that our side has gotten up to. Like, it's been kind of weird, wonderful, and wacky since we started.
Yeah.
And it's a very different energy than you'd immediately expect if you lined the characters up on a wall.
Yeah. It's definitely like not like what I expected, because like I've tuned in like kind of a little bit while I've been working, and I'm like, this is not what I expected, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Y'all are so fun. So good.
I know Izzy said like, it's like, man, Flux is supposed to be sad or right now, but you can't find the energy to do that because of the vibes going on.
It's also, I mean, even Mary's like, I am sad, but that's not what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're killing a lot of people, and we're going on a hike through Bloodland, and we're having a grand old time of it.
Fuck Bloodland. I hate Bloodland.
And it's been it's been really good. But it's also I think it's a common truth about certain types of traumas or sadness, in that you can sometimes get very upset with yourself because you don't feel sad in the way that you've been trained that you should, or that you think you should. I've had a conversation with my half sister and a couple other people who, the way they processed our mom's passing earlier this year, they're still not really there yet. Like they got a tattoo to kind of commemorate it, and a couple other things, but they felt very, very guilty about not really feeling like an overwhelming desire to break down and cry, where, like, you know, I did that. My other sister definitely did that. I think one of them might not even know. Like, that's like, we got a whole bunch of variants, but how you process things is going to be very, very different moment to moment. And sometimes it's just kind of a bit much. Like, a lot of the stuff that Miriam's dealing with is so conceptual that you can process, like, right now, I mean, people who are at this point are going to know kind of where we are in the story. Processing the loss of a person who was never there is difficult, because you're mourning the loss of someone, and that feeling is totally valid and real. But what are you crying for? Like, there literally wasn't anyone there. They were a fiction. And so you're not really mourning what you've lost, you're mourning what you could have had. And it's difficult, but it's not one of those moments where, as at least in Miriam's case, where he's gonna break. I mean, very few things are gonna break him down and like really, really get him. He's just gonna.
I can do it. I can break him down.
Sit in it. You could break him into pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just gonna sit in it, and that's kind of what he does. And the truth of tragedy is that life keeps happening whether or not you want it to. So for Flux, for Miriam, for the whole highest standard, who have all experienced their own personal tragedies, it's something that can infuriate you a little bit sometimes, but the world moves on anyways. Hell, that's a specific line that Logan used when Quinn was stolen by Fiona, is that the sun rose anyways.
Yep. God.
And it's true. You can't stop. You don't get the luxury. That's not how this works. It's not what we signed up for. And so, grimly or merrily, Marion will continue regardless of circumstance, because his options are continue or die, and he really doesn't have any in between. And I think the same, unbeknownst to Flux, is mostly true. I think the one thing is that once he's done here, assuming survival, Flux might retire. They might be able to be like, I'm going to now write a 10,000 page thesis on whatever the fuck that was with my lovely old gnome lady, and we're gonna peer review this until the end of time.
Oh,
I just want good things for.
Gosh dang.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here. I love listening to you guys just talk about your characters. It just makes me so happy. I love it so much.
Aw.
Just
hooray.
My heart's so happy.
Yeah, you can really get into theming, and there's a lot of different types of themes in Somnus Domina, and in our campaign specifically within it. There's themes of racial injustice. There's themes of like familial longing and difficulties and strife. But a common thing that's not just running through our stuff, but through a lot of media in general, but notably in Vestige, there is a theme of loss amongst everybody. And I love that kind of shit. I mean, that's one of the best things I love about I'm not going to get into it, but I can gush about it another time. One of the biggest things I love about Final Space is a literal theme of the show. It is about loss. It is about losing things. It's about what we leave behind to get where we are now. And the same is absolutely true of the highest standard and of many of the people the highest standard have touched. We give up a lot to get where we need to be, and that's true of a lot of people. I feel like there's tons of people that can resonate with, where you have, willingly or no, some things get left behind, and sometimes it's about what we're willing to claw back, and sometimes it's about what we can't. And those are what make things interesting.
No, I feel so grateful that we get to all kind of play in that space together too. We're at time, so I am gonna be quick on this, but
Raj,
I feel very grateful that we get to play in that space and be like so comfortable with each other in it, that we can be as vulnerable as we are to tell those kinds of stories. You know, because telling stories with characters that we like, the ones that we have, is a very, very vulnerable thing, and I think it's great. It's beautiful stories so far of all these characters, and they're all such interesting and diverse people that are either sad or angry most of the time, or funny or masking, and everyone's so layered. No matter how simple they might seem on the surface, everyone in the highest standard, and all, like, even the NPCs, everyone is so fucking layered, and everyone feels like people, and I think that's fucking awesome. It's just so good. So good. Again, unless y'all have any more comments, that is all the time we have.
If I could, I would talk for 10 more years, so I will shut up.
I got so much mileage out of that question.
You really did. Fucking let's go, dude.
Aaron went off.
Again, if you don't stop me, I will never shut up, especially if it's about character stuff. I can dig into it for ages.
Mm-hmm.
So
that clearly, yeah.
No, I'm happy just listening. I said it. I'm like, I just love it. Just tell me about your characters. Just brain rot at me. Tell me words. Just go. I want more.
Go off.
But anyway, here's for another shitty transition, because I will never be good at them, no matter how hard I try. That is all the time we have. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being on my show.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always.
I love
I can't wait for the next one where I'll do my next TED Talk.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I do have...
Your philosophical TED Talk over here about Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Insane.
Well, would you guys like to promote yourselves at all? Tell the folks where they can find you when you're not here in my little box that I've put you in.
Yes.
All right, Aaron, go off. Fuck you, Spencer.
If I'm not DMing or running the Monday stream or popping in on either the D&D streams, you can find me on Tuesdays and Fridays and occasional Gorilla streams over on twitch.tv/frozenfrost. You can also find me on Twitter at Twitter or x.com / at the Aaron Parnell, where I will like a bunch of VTuber stuff and occasionally post the letter A in rapid succession.
Yep.
And other such witticisms. So if you want to see a lot of that, do that. Otherwise, I don't know. Come call me cute on my stream. Do it, because I'm adorable.
Aaron's got a piece of paper that says he's funny. You should be following
It's
him.
true. It's in my closet. I framed it and then I didn't hang it up because I'm a fucking useless human being. I have 4 diplomas in my closet. I've never put them up. Not once. I've had them for like a decade, like almost a decade, and I've never hung them.
That's
I
fine.
understand
Same.
that,
Same.
But yeah, that's what I do.
Hell yeah. What about you, Spencer?
You can find me on the twitter.com at MrBuddyVA. I don't really post things often.
Fool.
So, yeah, you can also catch me on every other, well, the intended air date is every other Friday on the Something Witty Gaming Twitch, where I DM the SWE&D campaign. By the time this airs, the end is closing in, I keep telling myself. Seems to get further and further away every time I say it, though.
Stop saying it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can find me there. It's a good time. But yeah, those are the 2 main places that I hang out. I'm also on the Cutie Cult streams on Monday with Aaron and Carrie.
It's a good time.
Yeah, those are the places I be.
That's you? Well, hell yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want more Nat 19,
You're welcome.
thank you. I appreciate your presence.
You never expect somebody to say you're welcome in that shit.
No, I don't, and I love it. But if you guys want more Nat 19, remember you can tune in on Monday through Wednesday for gaming streams with the cast, Thursday for alternating D&D streams of Princes of the Apocalypse and Devil's Might Surrender, and of course Saturdays we play Vestige of a Fucus, save for the first weekend of every month. And sometimes other weekends, because life happens, y'all. If you're interested in merchandise and you want more information about our team, you can visit our website at not19show.com, We're pretty neat. I like to think so. And if you want more Hayden, which sure, I guess, you can find me on most socials at HeyBelleVoice on Twitter and Instagram. Sometimes you can find me streaming as my VTuber, Scylla Aria. You can find me over on twitch.tv/Scylla Aria. But that's about it. And next time we have myself and Logananan. So get your questions in for Aviana, Theo, Regan, and or just me. And for Logan, feel free to ask him NPC questions, other DMing questions, whatever you want to ask. What's his favorite color? I don't know. Things. The link will be down below.
Banana.
Banana.
If you don't know Logan's favorite color by now, what are you doing?
You know what? Maybe I'll throw the question in just to, throw a
just
curveball.
throw him off.
It's obviously brown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
if
it.
you
The
don't
brown
know it.
crow. He's the brown crow.
The brunette cacao boy.
Perfect. Did it.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you very soon. And thank you again
You're
to our
welcome.
wonderful artist, and Spencer, I guess, our wonderful artist, Kiyoshuki. The link will be in the chat as well as down below. We will see you guys next time.
The brown
So long.
caca.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
The brown bird.
The
Goodbye.
brown bird, caca.